On that day, April 11, 1970, the universe itself seemed to be casting shadows around the Apollo 13 mission. The launch, scheduled for 1:13 p.m. Central Time, seemed to have been chosen by fate itself to be the harbinger of unknown trials. The mission number 13 was already alarming in itself, because in many cultures this number is considered a symbol of misfortune and unpredictable events. Preparation for the flight was carried out under the sign of the highest professionalism and optimism. The crew, consisting of Commander James Lovell, Command Module Pilot Jack Swigert, and Lunar Module Pilot Fred Hayes, was determined to succeed in the task of the third manned lunar landing. However, despite all precautions, the spacecraft and its crew were set on a journey that seemed destined to be tested by forces that lay beyond human comprehension. The launch was successful, and Apollo 13 began its journey to the moon. Anticipation of something unknown enveloped the mission from the beginning. Some NASA employees and family members of the astronauts felt inexplicable anxiety, as if intuitively feeling that the crew faced unprecedented challenges. But hope for success and faith in science and technology were strong, and the Apollo 13 mission traveled into space to face the unknown beyond ordinary understanding. On the third day of the mission, April 13, 1970, when the Apollo 13 spacecraft was on its way to the moon, an event occurred that will forever go down in space history as one of the most intense and mystically intense. At 21:07 on the ship's time, amidst the boundless darkness and silence of space, there was a sudden explosion. It was not just a technical failure, but a catastrophe that jeopardized the lives of the astronauts and the entire success of the mission. The explosion of an oxygen tank in the service module caused severe damage. Power systems were disrupted, and oxygen supplies began to dwindle rapidly. The situation was critical. Without oxygen, the astronauts couldn't breathe, and without power, they couldn't fly the ship or return home. "Houston, we have a problem," were the words uttered by Jack Swigert and became iconic for the entire era of space exploration. The mystical aspect of this event is enhanced by the coincidence of numbers and dates, the number 13 in the mission name, and the date of the explosion, which occurred on the third day of the mission, were reminders of an unexplained coincidence that could have been taken as an ominous sign or warning. That the crew and mission control team were able to manage this emergency speaks to a marvelous display of human spirit and engineering genius. In the hours and days that followed, under conditions of severe oxygen and power shortages, the Apollo 13 crew and NASA specialists on Earth demonstrated incredible skill and ingenuity. Using the lunar module as a lifeboat, they rewrote the space engineering book on the fly, adapting and reconfiguring systems to support life and navigation. Those nights spent fighting for survival in the moon's orbit will forever be remembered as a reminder that space is not only a place for discovery, but also an arena for encountering unpredictable forces and challenges for which humanity must be prepared. After a critical anomaly and the cancellation of the primary mission of landing on the moon, the Apollo 13 crew was faced with a monumental task. It was necessary not just to survive, but to successfully return to Earth through the limitless expanse of space. From April 13th to April 17th, 1970, every moment aboard the craft was filled with hard work, creative problem-solving, and incredible efforts to save the astronauts' lives and successfully complete the mission. Using the lunar module as a temporary lifeline, astronauts James Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes, along with the tirelessly working team at Mission Control Center in Houston, were able to adjust trajectory, provide life support, and keep morale high. They endured cold, water shortages, the threat of carbon dioxide poisoning, and the constant stress of the uncertainty of the mission's outcome. On April 17th, an interminably long 6 days after the explosion, the world watched one of the most dramatic and exciting moments in space history. Apollo 13 entered Earth's atmosphere, and everyone held their breath, waiting for the final maneuver. The control center team and relatives of the astronauts, the whole world waited for the signal of safe return. And finally, the parachutes opened, marking the successful completion of the mission. The ship landed safely in the Pacific Ocean. This moment symbolized not only the engineering genius and unwavering spirit of the astronauts and NASA specialists, but also the incredible luck that accompanied the crew. In this most dangerous adventure, the return of Apollo 13 proved that even in the most desperate situations, the human spirit can overcome any obstacle, and the power of science and technology can ensure safety and return home. The Apollo 13 mission, which has gone down in history as a successful failure, is still a reminder that the journey to the stars is inextricably linked to risk and challenges that require the utmost display of courage, ingenuity, and mutual aid from humankind.
Thank you for being with us. Subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past.